Veritas. How are you today, Taurus?
I'm doing fantastic.
I hope that everyone who's joining us is also. Today is going to be in a very interesting discussion about what's going on in our world with food.
Once again, food. People like
Yes.
discussing that. It's a very challenging time for people all across the US and the world at large, but primarily focused in the US, and how to navigate lab grown, engineered, ultra processed foods, and really what are we consuming. So we're going to be diving into that. And it used to be dirty dozen.
Yeah.
It was all we had to think about.
Yeah.
In organic, non-GMO, but there's so much more to focus on right now.
There's so much in the language that is deceptive on purpose and by design. When you see natural and organic, doesn't mean what you are being called to think it means.
Yeah, it's a scam. It's not even real. So we're going to be discussing this, and of course, we'll be highlighting certain events and playing a couple of clips to bring you all up to date on things that are happening, just in case you haven't heard about certain things, but really bringing forth solutions in this time. And this is also in tandem with Lotus's class. You're teaching soul translation. You just finished sun calibration, which is the prerequisite for soul translation.
Yes.
And we're going to be going deep into food or discernment with food. And this is more than just, is this food in my best and highest interest to eat? Is this even food? So today's topic is, what are we consuming? And within this class, you're going to be teaching people how to navigate this in a more detail-oriented way beyond just, is it in my body's best and highest interest to eat this, but how to calibrate beyond the label. Because they're, like you said, they're getting us with these labels. We can't even trust the labels anymore. And sometimes this coded language that they have, and it's quite fascinating, but actually it's not. It's not fascinating at all. Excuse me, I take that back. It's not fascinating. It's quite evil. But we're not victims of this. And this is one of the wonderful things about sun calibration, just to speak more on that and why there's so much value in being able to discern. I've heard people online say things like, man, people better learn how to discern. And I'm thinking to myself, you might want to get with us to learn how to check with your body's intelligence to navigate, because you can't trust the companies, you can't trust the labels, you can't trust the big box stores. And really the solution is to go local, get with people who grow food, or maybe start growing your own, wherever you fit in, get in and take back the authority. But really, even within that, discerning, because we've seen some things where, I don't know if you ever seen the video of the farmer's market. They were taking produce from the store and dumping it in their basket, trying to pass it off as...
Yeah, because they can get it for cheap at the end. And
discernment. So it's more than just the food. It's life itself as we navigate the terrain of this funky space that we're in. So before we begin, just a couple of announcements, and welcome everyone to the Of the Sun live stream. And as I mentioned, we just completed sun calibration with Lotus. So we had some new students, and it was a really good time. Your students were actually quite advanced.
Yes, they were.
They were getting a little ahead of themselves. It's like, you're talking level 2 over here, but you still need your foundation.
I think Of the Sun is beginning to attract people who already trust levels of their own discernment, and that's a wonderful thing. We are moving out of the time where people don't believe in anything that their own experience shows them. Yeah. Which has been where we were for many years.
Indeed, indeed. So it was a beautiful thing to see, because I partake in the class, operating as a IT and co-teacher.
Yes.
And one of the things, just the highlights of the class, that is, it's always a reoccurring thing. And because when you're calibrating with the body, and this is for people who are looking to take the soul translation class with Laozi regarding food, do you want the truth? And are you detached enough to receive the truth from the body's intelligence? And that's really the kicker. Are we attached to the outcome? Are we in fear of what the outcome is? Do we want the Chick-fil-A? No judgment, but I think time's up for that. Chick-fil-A is not even Chick-fil-A. It's not what it used to be. It's not what it used to be.
Oh,
Looks like stringy mozzarella cheese.
but it is what they have always been.
Ah,
It is
yes,
that.
yeah, that's true.
You know, it has never not been what it is.
Yeah, this is just the unfoldment of
Yes.
and the natural progression of it. It makes a lot of sense. So we're going to be playing some videos for you all again, and it's within the realm of exposing things that are going on. But again, this sense calibration, this is the capacity to discern. This is key for our future, and for so many reasons. But we're just going to be honing in on food right now. So also this week, today is the last day of Energy Hygiene 101,
Yes.
and in this class, this is foundation, creating an energy hygiene lifestyle. You know, I was talking to a young man a few days ago during a discovery call, and he's like, "Man, I just feel like so stuck, so congested." I'm like, "You need to clear your pipes, clear out the congestion, because things aren't flowing." And this is the reality. Much of the stagnation that we experience, and it's because the accumulation. And so, essentially, you know, learning how to keep ourselves unencumbered
And
daily to
that's,
stay within our power and sovereign.
I'm so glad you brought that up because we're about to move into September and October where we'll be doing our 3-day apple fast and allow the body to rest and get rid of some of the accumulation of the mucus forming
Yeah.
and poisonous things that are in our liver and allow our body to rest, give respect to the body and the technology so that it can rest a little. So we hope that you all will look forward to joining us for a 3-day apple fast coming up in late September.
It's funny you say this. Yesterday, I was literally looking up the orchards.
Yes.
When is it time to? Well, no, I was using my thumbs. When is it time to go picking again?
Yes.
And so I'm looking forward. I'm going to bring your grandson Aubrey on with me and take him to have that experience. And 3-day apple cleanse is always a great reset for anybody who's looking to, again, like Lota said, clean out the liver. I remember my first time doing it.
What was your experience
Oh,
like?
I was on cloud nine. So it was weird eating, being on a mono diet because that was the first time I did mono, and by the second day, I was like, okay, I'm feeling good, and I was eating a lot of apples. I
Yeah,
was
at least
like
8.
binging on apples.
At least 8 a day, maybe more if you can
Yeah.
manage it. Yeah.
That second day was like 10 to 12.
Yeah.
But the third day, I didn't eat as much. I had to like make myself eat more, eat the quota. But I was glowing. I was on college. I was like, whoa, these apples got me feeling alive. And I was so energetic. And I wanted to extend it more than 3 days. And you're like, Tavares, don't put too much sauce on it. And so I dialed back, but it was such a wonderful experience. And so we encourage you all, we'll keep you posted because if you look in last year in the archive, I even posted a video up of my adventure to the apple orchard in northern Georgia, met some great people out there, spoke to them about Other Sun and what we're doing. And just to get the excitement going around this. And if you have an orchard somewhere near you, we encourage go picking. Find someone who has apples or growing around you, or go to your local farmers market to partake in this event. So we'll keep you posted on it.
Everything about the apple is glorious. The shape, the color, the taste, the nutrition, its benefit, what it does in the colon, what a few days of that does to the body. It's quite, I'll talk more about it when we get closer to it. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. Welcome, people. We got some more people joining us live, and we appreciate you all joining us in the live stream. Again, we're talking about food today. Bioengineered, 3D printed. What are you consuming? And it's funny because even though we're talking about food, I was sharing with you how this can be multidimensional.
Yes.
What are we consuming? Because everything we take in, whether it be visually, audibly, is a form of consumption, and it's processed and cycled through. And is it nourishing us? Is it processed? Have overly hyper processed media.
Yes.
Enriched, hydrogenized.
All of that.
I keep going. Soy.
All of those things.
Messing up your hormones.
It's all true, but it's even more than that. In all of our relationships, the idea of relation, whether it's relation with food or relation with other aspects of life that exists, the relationship is the nourishment. How you think about the people who you live with is what they are nourished on. How you think about your food and what it does for you has everything to do with what it does. So there's more to it, but the nourishment is in, your mother looks at you and tells you you're beautiful. You are nourished. That's nourishment, yes. Or you look at someone and you think, you're not my friend. And then that becomes poor nourishment, you know. So I'm afraid of you. I don't want to be around you. You scare me. I'm afraid you'll take me over. That's what you're fed on then. And then you're fed on the fear that someone else will take away your light or take you away. So there's much to be said about nourishment. I've written some books about it, and I've given a lot of thought to this idea. It is very clear that everything eats, and that everything eats more than what it puts in its mouth. That you are eating the consciousness of those who are your neighbors, you're eating the consciousness of your friends and family, and if you don't like what the nutrition has produced in them.
I don't even know if we can call it nutrition in some cases. Just saying.
Yes, what the results of whatever they have been eating, put it like that.
Yes.
So if that is the case, then this is all within your power to adjust. And that's really what this conversation is about, is you are empowered to take in what you are willing to take in and to reject what you are not willing to take in. And that's where we have lost. I think it's about the food, but it's more about what can you do to affect what is in your atmosphere and in your relationships with your government, your country, your foodstuffs.
Yeah, I see that that's so important, and it's a powerful space to be in because the circumstance that we're confronted with, many people feel powerless. This idea of like, what am I to do? And everything about this
Right.
is helping us redirect into our power. But it does require us to change things up a little bit, break from the status quo, things that we've been comfortable with. We were talking about how our allegiance to grocery stores, supermarkets, etc., there's a type of magic associated. There's a contract. There's some type of bond and agreement. It's not only just the groove, but the ritual of going that has to be broken to allow ourselves to explore something different, like a farmer's
Absolutely.
market, or even I like checking out the international markets. It's if you see, I was grabbing peaches and I saw a fly on the peach, and I said, "Yeah, this is real. This is real. Yeah, we're in the right place." It felt satisfying because, as you know, some of the animals and insects are not even eating what is being presented as food or masquerading as food. So that's something to consider. But I digress. But again, everything you're saying is, again, repositioning us back into power. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Like, how can we look at what we're confronted with and see where's the golden nugget with this? So I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, so energy hygiene, this is the last day for this class. And any of these classes are available as recordings for anyone who wants to join in, who missed out, because you really didn't miss out. It's always available. And so the upcoming Friday, we're going to do the Quantum Light Property Clearing Chronicles. Myself, Diane, Tiffany, and Lauren Obasan. And we're going to be going into the topic of signs that you need a property clearing.
Oh, yeah.
And there is so much that happens in spaces and places that we kind of are numb to and normalize, but clearly are issues
Yes.
that require a professional to come in and ghostbuster that place up.
Yes, absolutely. We have spent decades honing and developing very effective methods of moving interference patterns out of spaces and places, people for that matter, animals, land, and many people have become nose blind to the odd things that go on in the house, the things they hear, the things they see, the things they see out of the corner of their eyes, all of these things, and feel like that's a normal experience. But it's not normal for those who want to live in high frequency experiences. It's not
Yeah.
a normal thing.
Yeah, it's wow.
And these things interfere with the levels of elevation and happiness that we can have. And sometimes they're brought in through arguments or through the television shows or the music we listen to or the people who built the building or the indigenous who lived on the land before you got there. There's just so many things. We are able to look into all of those levels.
Yeah, talk
We
about.
have made it our business to be the expert in that arena.
And when we speak about what are you consuming, we are consuming the memory that's trapped within our spaces and places
Absolutely, I love
over
it.
and over and over again.
I love it. Talking that truth talk.
Yeah,
That's
how the
right.
field works.
It's the memory that's in the wall when somebody yelled at you or called you a name. It's the memory that's in the ground of what was sacred and what was not. It's the memory of all of the horror shows that you played in the children played in the room while you weren't looking.
Yeah.
It's the memory that still exists as a real energy pattern, and it's still moving towards its own energy equivalent.
That's right. Influencing you to repeat and perpetuate that which was imprinted until a greater or higher energy comes in to collapse it.
Yes.
Who are you going to call?
Greater, higher energy that could collapse the property clearing energy. Would you come? Yes.
Yeah, that right there.
Yes.
So speaking of which, Quantum Light Property Clearing Level 2 is coming up in September. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th week. So we're looking forward to this, and we know some of you have been wanting this, so join us. We're going to have a really good time. And I was just speaking to Diane about different ways of clearing, allowing ourselves to be flexible, and that's what it's about. Like as we progress, we learn that there's more than one way to do something, and this is more on the advanced level. But again, as you're growing and evolving, you know, we refine our process, we become more efficient with our energy, our life force, but also the necessity to expand. Something interesting that I noticed within my own experience is that not clearing as much as you could, or not just with clearing, this is a universal concept that I've experienced, where when you have a skill set, when you have energy, vitality, something that you are designed to do, and you're not putting forth the effort, I would say like max effort, and you're just kind of like, I'm doing what I've always done, it starts working against you.
Absolutely. Yeah, the punishment is in the not doing.
Yeah.
You know, it's if you are given power to use for the benefit of humanity and for all of life, and you decide not to say it, not to do it, not to be part of it, not to explore it, not to share it, then what happens next is the punishment is already in the act of withholding love, withholding service. If you have it to give, it is the service to give.
Yes.
So it's in the, if you don't let people see your light, then you have withheld from them the love of what the light could give them.
Yeah, it starts working against you.
It
You
works
deny
against
yourself.
and then you deny yourself their love and admiration. Now you can't get it.
Dang.
You know?
May the message be shine. Do what you came here to do.
Yes, and at the highest possible expression that you can, and then call for more, call for correction, call to be greater, be better, be more of service, call to have more to be of service with. And then when you show up, everybody's happy to see you because things are going to happen. And then you will benefit greatly it's already in the equation. On the other side of the equal sign is you feel good too. It's great. You know, it's a wonderful thing. So many people walk around in varying stages of malaise because they haven't quite found that expression that would be the expression they could give forth. However, pursuing light, a side effect of pursuing your own light is you start to know what you're supposed to do with it. You start to have levels of clarity. Did you find that to be so?
Oh, most certainly. The moral of the story was to clear more individual properties, clear more zip codes, expand your lists. And when I did those clearings, it opened me up. And I was like, this is what I've been missing. This is what I needed. The expression to allow that amount of light to flow through.
Yeah, there's something to be said for the practicality of providing what's needed. It turns out that we have plenty of places to use our light. It turns out that we have been provided with a lot of space in which to clean. And so we don't have to look too far to see what needs to be cleaned.
Yeah.
There's every in every scenario there's an opportunity for cleaning.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, so also we have DNA activation. So for those who are looking to take level 1 property clearing, which is later in the year, this is one of the prerequisites, the reconnection of the etheric portion of the DNA. And this is also a 3-day class. The first day is the activation portion. This will be held on Wednesdays, second, third, and fourth Wednesday. And then the first Friday of the month, Diane's going to do Evolutionary Book Club.
Yay.
She'll be covering Dr. Emoto's book, The Hidden Messages in Water. And so many of us are familiar with Dr. Emoto, and this is riding off the back of the sacral. We just had the sacral chakra for light body, and you were speaking about the relationship and the cycle, and you're wearing orange, butterfly orange with the monarch colors. See the monarch shirt underneath? It's like fly around the flowers. So the orange and the sacral is all about the reciprocity and the ebb and the flow of the water and the life force and what's going in, what's coming out in the relationships. And we learned a lot. It was so fascinating in the sacral light body.
Yes.
It never ceases to amaze me how each phase we are going deeper and deeper into not only practicality but embodiment. None of that skipping rock across the surface stuff, where we can see the energy of the energetic matrix of the sacral show up in our reality, literally life force itself, and direct it to influence structure, order, and flow into our reality, like wielding the light. That's a whole different experience than like, okay, I'm just going, I don't know, whatever people are doing, where it might be a little something, but like people are looking for more. So if you're looking for more, looking to activate these chakras, these energetic matrices, and in a practical, tangible way, join us in the light body movement. We are shifting into the solar plexus on the first Sunday.
Yes.
So we're really looking forward to it, because I love the solar plexus because it's the sun, the fire element, tetrahedron, and we are the sun.
And it's tangential. Solar plexus is this area of the gut. It's tangential to the food class. It's tangential to all of the energies, to water, which we just are talking about, to the mechanisms of what happens in the sacral, and then is foundational in the root chakra, and then on the way to the heart. All of these, there's neurons in the stomach, as there are neurons in the brain, as there are neurons in the heart, and we're about to triangulate. We're moving into the gut, which has its own brain, which determines much about what goes on with your well-being, your happiness, your serotonin.
That's right.
Your oxytocin.
All of that, all those chemicals. Those
it has
hormones.
a lot to do with what's going on in the gut and what our conversation today is about.
Most certainly.
What are we being nourished from?
So just a handful of announcements for you all. So again, Evolutionary Book Club is the first Friday of the month, 7 p.m. Eastern with Diane. Every Monday you can catch Lauren of the Sun, Flowers and Frequencies, meditating with the consciousness of flowers. Wednesdays you can catch Diane working with the chakras. She just released a chakra meditation for the sacral, wholeness. We're moving in. Again, coherence is the theme for the entire phase of phase 3 of light body, where although we are focused on individual energy centers throughout the month, we're looking to still sustain coherence of the entire system. So it takes a little bit of stretching, but it's cool. What else you got to do? You know, you usually say, that's a job, Joe Bob. What else you came here to do? So we're having a good time. And then, again, you can catch us every Thursday here at 12 noon. And stay tuned because we're looking to do more of the in-person pop-ups.
Yes.
Yeah, we haven't quite decided on the next location, but we'll let you know when we know.
When we pop up, you'll be
Yeah,
able to be
that's right.
aware of our pop up. Yes.
All right, so I want to give a quick shout out to people who are joining. We got a lot of commentary here, and thank you everyone for joining us for the live stream. We've concluded our announcements. We're going to dive into our conversation about food, and there's a lot going on. Like I mentioned earlier, we got some clips we're going to play and have some discussion around that. So Inlakesh and Veritas, Inlakesh Studio 1, Stacy OTS 17, CC Tree, Steph of the Sun. We got Theodora Anderson. Steph of the Sun says, my guidance spoke to me today and said, you know that you are all in famine? I was like, really? How? And they said, because the food is not real. So essentially, there is no food. Makes a lot of sense. Well, there's food out there, but it's scarce. You know, it's like in terms of like what we've been accustomed to. So it does require us to pivot.
So that is the truth from the
Well,
perspective of what was.
yeah, what was, yeah.
Yes.
And that's the whole conversation, like shifting from what was and
Yeah.
what we've been used to and seeing how we have to change. So thank you, Steph of the Sun. And then I'm Elijah Woods. Peace, infinite wisdom, love, light, and prosperity, power in the present. No, that's right. Gratitude. Thank you,
You
Elijah.
must have saw that video we released today.
Yeah. Power in the present.
Yeah.
Check out the shorts and the Instagrams and the TikToks. We post a lot of little clips from the pre-recording and the live streams on there as well.
Don't be afraid to share.
Yeah, don't be scared. Share it, put it out there. All right, we also got Gina in the house in the Kitchen Veritas. Much gratitude to Laota of the Sun and the Other Sun for sharing your energy and experiences with us in order to be in the truth and heal and grow stronger together. And she says, wondering about the one-day citrus cleanse. My body has shared with me that I need to detox in order to become congruent with true health. I know that's right.
I'd like to speak to that. The one-day citrus fast is recommended on a regular cycle. You could do that once a week, once a month. You are not to do it more than one day at a time because you may throw yourself into detox that would be difficult. But you can manage lemon water or lemon tea or orange juice or grapefruit juice or something like that for one day, for one 24-hour cycle, and the lymph congestion will start to move out. My grandson had a little bit of detoxing fruit, and his bones and joints were hurting because of an accumulation of what was calcified material. So that may happen. You may feel a little stiffness. When that happens, that's an indicator. Do it again next week. Do it until you just feel fabulous and free. You're not going hungry. You're not fasting. You're eating, but you're eating only citrus for one day. You can eat. My guidance often encourages me to eat a fresh pink grapefruit where I peel it and eat all of the pith and all of the vitamin C, although it's also good to juice it. There's great benefit in eating it in the way in which it comes from nature, fresh and alive, and you are encouraged to find the very best citrus that you can find. If it looks too big or too mutated, don't get it.
Yeah,
Use your
suspect.
calibration, Gina. You just finished the class. Calibrate to see, is this piece of citrus appropriate for me?
None of that supersize.
Yeah. That's a dead ringer that if it's the size of your head is too big for a grapefruit.
Unless it's a pomelo. It gets a
or
pass.
a watermelon.
Right. There's a lot of little interaction in here. Gina, she says you look like a beautiful butterfly.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
And then some talk about, looks like, I'm going to read this out loud. We went and found out yesterday that the tree in the backyard is going to be removed next month because it's got a disease. And I found myself feeling sad and meditating with the tree yesterday. And Elijah says, peace. Try to transplant, clone, graft, or propagate. No, that's right.
Yay.
That's right.
Also, speak to the tree. The tree knows that it's eternal. You're the one who doesn't know that it's eternal. Speak to the tree. When it ends this experience, it has a chance to renew itself in its glory and health and freedom. It is not unusual that our trees are dying because of what has been sprayed from our skies. So this is on purpose and by design, and we should be in honor of our trees and speak to them. And it is, we do lose when we lose our trees. However, you can maintain through respect and understanding of how the cycles work, you can maintain the relationship with the idea, the concept of what a tree is, and hold that with you and call it forward so that in some other experience a new tree will grow for you. You can ask for that, and that will be satisfied. Because life wants to be life. Life wants to life it up.
Yeah, that's what it does. Can't stop, won't stop. All right. So thank you all for your comments. We're going to go ahead and dive into our discussion today. And so, again, we used to worry about pesticides, GMO, dirty dozen. Now it seems like our food literacy requires expanding. You know, we have lab grown, 3D printed. There's other language I don't recall from the top of my head, but it's so insidious. Like even like for example, some of us engage in salmon wild caught, and like the wild caught isn't wild caught. In most cases, it's like
Farm raised.
wild raised or something. It's something interesting, but it's what it was that it was the stem cells or the cells of a wild caught salmon that was lab grown. So they're trying to stretch the truth. So there's a lot of weird, quirky things, even for people who do eat meat and seafood, and even with vegetables. You know, we have to have greater discernment across the board. And so, what are your initial thoughts about this, Lota, in a world where now we can't really use the framework from the 1990s and the early 2000s anymore?
You know, we are ahead of the curve in teaching people to discern the truth with your own technology. This is what will have to happen.
Yeah.
There is no other way unless you would like to trust those who are in the power of bringing forth the food. And we have seen what they will do. So now it's incumbent upon us to look at the fruit and say, are you food for me? And the fruit will tell you no. Your body will indicate that. This is calibration. This is why it's important to learn to calibrate, to know whether an egg is an egg, to know whether the rice is plastic, to know whether the ice cream has got formaldehyde and it's embalming you. These are all very real things that have been around for decades, by the way, for decades, working their way into our food systems. So it is well known now, and it is quite well publicized, that people have about the size of a credit card of plastic in their brain and in their blood floating around, because it's not just the food. We consume our lifestyle, so we put plastic pods in our dishwashers, and we put plastic pods in our laundry, and then the water is contaminated with the bits and particles of plastic, and then that plastic comes through our drinking water, and then that drinking water makes the bottled water. The bottled water comes from the water plants that are really connected to our sewer systems. So that's a scary understanding.
Yeah.
And I don't think most people actually understand that that's where the toilet water, we are drinking toilet water, and we are drinking the water from our washing machines and our dishwashers. And that, you know, it would be an unfortunate thing if we lived in a world where all of the ones we loved, our animals, all drank out of the toilet and ate processed food, but so do we. We are drinking toilet water and eating processed food, and we're giving it to our beloved pets thinking we're doing them a good turn. That's not the case. The, the technology of life itself requires life to operate. Anything less than that will keep life alive. A can of green beans will keep you alive for a while, but it doesn't make life. You make a sprout, you eat sprouts, it makes life inside of you. It gives you light. You become part of the light. You eat something fresh and alive, and you get freshness and aliveness. You eat something dead and full of plastic, it's obvious what you get. Only worse because at this point it's so prevalent that even if you have the intention to treat yourself better, which everyone does not, but if you do, you can't trust the labels because the labels have been designed for confusion. Natural, organic, wild-ish, you know.
You can't trust any of them.
You know, farm-fed has turned out to be a disaster. That was something that started decades ago, and now it's quite contaminated. The fish is difficult. It's difficult to get good produce, good fish, everything. Everything is now becoming more difficult, and we're not too far into this yet. It's going to get more intense.
Hearing you say this, I could see the necessity for pivoting on what we consume and how much we consume. And it doesn't have to be a bad thing, but I see where it requires a shift in perspective. You know, where like some of it, like we were talking the other day, I think it was the idea of breakfast, and like whose idea was that? Right? Like to eat a heavy meal in the morning, and I've learned that it's not needed. But at the same time, you know, if your mind thinks you need it, then you need it.
Yeah, it sells product.
Yeah.
You know, like you're 25, you need a glass of milk and some cornflakes, for real.
Yeah, or Pop-Tart in the morning.
A big dose of sugar?
Frozen waffles, some maple syrup.
You-
Jimmy Dean. Tell me you're not eating Jimmy Dean. Jimmy Dean breakfast sausage biscuit.
Well, whatever.
McGriddle.
Many of these things have already been outed publicly, but
Yeah.
even the concept that that is what's needed is,
Yes.
you know, this is the background music. This is the assumption. We have the assumption, you know, whose mother and grandmother didn't say, you got to eat breakfast, baby? Who, you know, because that's what we.
We have been discussing about things. So I've been having these moments, you all, regarding ancestry. Now, for those who work with Of the Sun, those who may not work with us directly, we do deep clearing on our ancestry. And something that has been so clear to me is, yes, you must address your past lives, but the DNA, the way that those interferences are bumping, it has priority in terms of your living DNA, the sabotage, and where you're looking to go in terms of your trajectory and growth, and how you can be pulled in with a gravitational pull. It's so much stronger than those past lives. I don't care what nobody say. I have seen it. I've done this work for a living, clearing souls, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Laota, the ancestry and the DNA, it's bumping. So with that being said, I've been seeing things with it, and my perception of family and humanity has been shifting. I'm not going to go too deep into that, but the point is, I have seen that there is such overlay in terms of propaganda of the scripts and the tropes that we're supposed to play with each other. Because there's a lot of things that I've seen with family where I'm like, why isn't my family doing this, or my mother doing this, or my brothers or my siblings, you know, or like, you know, love life and relationships, etc. Because I saw this in a show. Why aren't they? You know, so I say this to say, I recall seeing shows, you know, the kids are getting ready for school and there's this elaborate table full of breakfast. There's waffles, there's eggs, there's pancakes. Why do you need waffles and pancakes? I don't know. There's a big vase of orange juice and there's fruit, and then the child runs
The
and
American
gets his
way.
toast. It's like, all right, mom, catching my bus, right? And jetting out. So
Take your lunchbox.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So there's this perpetuation of you need the breakfast, and we know that the corporations have set this up. You know, this, we're not going to go into all the details, but there was an agenda to do this throughout the media by the food corporations. And so we've been overlaid with this perception that we must have this, but I have seen, and you live this life too, that you don't need to stuff yourself heavy in the morning. You know, so these are like little areas where we can kind of pivot and make shifts and changes where it doesn't require us to consume as much. And there's so many benefits when we eat later. As a matter of fact, I saw a clip of a guy say, "Man, it's something funny about like I eat in the morning and then I feel like I need to eat 2 hours later. But then if I don't eat in the morning and I go all the way through the afternoon, for some reason I feel like I can go almost a whole day without eating."
That actually is factual. That's a factual thing. When you start with the carbohydrates and sugar, then they want to be replenished every 2 hours.
Yeah.
So then you eat breakfast, then you have to have a Lebanese, then you have to have lunch, and then you have to have high tea at 4, and then you have to have dinner. And so you never stop digesting. So your body never gets a chance to rest. Every bit of that is aging. Every bit of that is wearing you out. Is that your body was not meant to digest food all of the time. Then you eat before you go to sleep, you have a piece of cake, and when the body should be healing itself at night, there should be no digestion. Now, instead of healing, you're digesting. Well, you're not digesting, you're sitting with something that's going to be putrid, that's not going to digest in your stomach. So all of this is a wrong understanding. All of this is not supported by nature or anything in the natural world. There's nothing, even cows stop grazing.
They take breaks.
Yes. And we're not grazing animals.
All right, go to the pantry, go to the fridge.
Yes, but that is the grazing lifestyle is what humans have adopted.
Well, we've been conditioned to be chattel in some shape or form.
But you're
Just
right,
keep eating and eating.
overconsumption never gives the brain a proper chance to clean out. The neural pathways get congested, the joints become congested, and we're not even eating food.
Well, that part. So
Yeah.
something that I noticed is that, and I think most people understand this, is the level of addiction with food, the additives, and I fast a lot. Most of you know this, and it's just part of my food lifestyle. But I've noticed when I eat certain things, there's like a compulsion to keep eating. It's like there's something in the foods that makes you want to have more of it, and it's really odd. It's something that I've noticed, and you have any thoughts on this at all?
Well, in the ancient Chinese tradition, you're taught to eat simple food and never eat until you're full, never go to bed. Instead of here in the West, we say don't go to bed hungry. They're like go to bed a little hungry, and eat less than what your appetite is for, and eat food that does not give you appetite for extremes. So that they would eat plain rice, plain fish, plain with some seasoning, but nothing too elaborate, like not too gourmet, or what we would consider highly, sophisticated taste, and because it encourages you to overeat.
Yes.
And one of the things in that culture is like never feed the baby, never make the child eat, never make a child eat food. The child will come to you when the child is ready to eat food because their technology, their body will automatically do that. You don't have to drive it and do an air. You don't.
Here comes the choo-choo train.
I see.
You're like, get in there. Smudge it all over the baby's face.
And then, people are doing horrible things like they're having the husband sit somewhere, the baby sit somewhere, and then the mother offers the husband food, and he says no, and then she pops him. And then the baby sees that, and then he's like, okay, I'll eat it.
Yeah, okay. I'm not trying to be second.
Yes, and so I see things like this on social media that are barbaric at the very least. So the body will take in what it needs to take, and the body doesn't want all the foods. I have children who have allergies and things they were allergic to. They knew before they came to the table. And I had to honor, it's like, oh no, I don't want that, but I'll have that. And instead of trying to be in control and like, no, you're going to eat this because I made it and I said so. It's like, no, yeah.
Yeah, I'm having flashbacks. It's trauma from my family and eating at the house of other friends and associates.
Yes,
Like,
where this control,
just force you
that,
to eat everything on the plate.
and the other idea is you know this idea of I've overeaten all my life and I'm never feeling good and I want to make sure you overeat too because I perceive my levels of malaise as being what's normal. The fact that I can't walk up and down the steps, the fact that I can't run a block, that's what's normal. So you need to make sure you eat plenty and do, all of that. And the things like I come from an era where the things people ate are astounding, and I would find I don't know that I could exist off of it. Most of it I didn't eat pet milk, canned milk, a can of dead milk with half sugar. That's what those carnation milk and
Yeah,
that's what that.
carnation. Yeah,
And we
my
made
grandmother
all of
used to
our
drink that.
desserts with that. And back in the day,
Yeah.
those kinds of things, the things that the pickled pig feet. And now there's a warning label on pork in general that it's a carcinogenic, which many of us already knew.
Yeah.
But our parents and our grandparents and our great grandparents ate these things, and we saw it. And if we weren't horrified by it, we may have picked up that habit.
See, and that's the thing. The food is not what it used to be. What grandparents ate is not what we're eating today. Even the way how we used to eat pork. They would put the cloves in, they'd put the sugar on top, let the parasites rise up. It was a whole process. A lot of that has been forgotten, and then of course on top of that the food's contaminated. But I digress. Our major
But I want
point
to
was
mention what you said. What you
yeah.
just said, it wasn't just that, and I know we have people on the line who know. They were also having a side dish of a parasite purge. They were also eating bitter greens
Yeah.
to get rid of the parasites from the things they were eating, which has been lost. The people are not doing that, so now you're just full of parasites.
See, let's talk a little bit about that because I've seen where the balance is needed, and sometimes people they live in their life and they eat a little something here, a little something there, but I have seen the necessity if you're going to do that, what are you doing to offset that, right? Because everybody's in varying stages of this, and we're very mindful of that. We're not telling you just don't eat anything, just start living off of light. That's not what this is. We have to work with where we are and continue to move forward. But I have again seen where the loss of the balance of the detox. Hence, Gina's talking about the citrus cleanse. We're about to do the apple cleanse and different things that you can do regularly to offset what's happening. And as a matter of fact, I want to kind of take it back a bit. You were speaking about the plastics, and I was thinking about the kimchi. Also sweating. We have the infrared sauna. These are things that we encourage that are solutions where I mean, you can go outside and sweat. You can break a sweat. There's a lot of different things that we can do to offset it, but again, it does require some level of will and even seeing the value of doing it. But what are your thoughts on that?
Well, the idea of having to reset what our goal is. Are we to have has the nation and have the people who are listening decided that you will live and be healthy? That's the first thing. You made a decision that you were going to be that way. In the days where I grew up, everybody got a parasite purge. It was not unusual for our parents to make sure we had a parasite purge. When my children grew up, I made sure they had a parasite purge every 3 weeks because they touch everything. They're children, their fingers everywhere. It's
Yeah,
all,
cooties.
they definitely needed parasite purge, but we're not really doing that. So now that with all of the other things that are going on in our world, we have lost some of the antidotes. And what you mentioned, kimchi and fermented foods, specifically kimchi, is an antidote to get plastic out of your body and out of your blood and out of your brain. Sweating is a natural antidote. There isn't a pharmaceutical product that will melt the plastic that you have consumed from drinking water and eating the food over the last few years. Sweating will do it. The mechanisms of your own technology will do it, and it should be something that we would do, but many of us can go months and never sweat.
Yeah.
So we use infrared in the winter, but we try to sweat in the summer when we can. We try to have enough exertion. You need that to help the body rid itself of the plastic before the accumulation becomes so great that sweating's not enough. The idea of eating a fermented food like kimchi, which has a variety of different microorganisms that can eat through the plastic, and it's a living biological intelligence, like the activation of sweating is a turning on the switch of the body. All right, we're in cleaning mode. This is car wash for the body, We're going to sweat it out. And all of those things with the help of a regular, basic parasite purge, because there's all kinds of things growing in all of our environments. And it's not getting better as things become less light, it's getting more egregious.
So turn up. Turn up. Lola knows that anytime she mentions parasite, I want to go dart and grab my tincture, take a few shots, make some tea or something, because it's so real. But I will say, within my own experience, I have seen the wonders that it does where it's routine, and it's not like intense, but it's the reality that even drinking juices, eating fruits, it's just life. They're everywhere. And just keeping it's no different than energy hygiene. I look at it just like that.
Yes.
I take it in the same way that I clear my energy hygiene. Here at the end.
It's really important that you have a realistic understanding of where are you. If you've been
That
living
part.
in a food desert where you've been eating from a place like a 7-Eleven or a place that doesn't have fresh produce or has suspicious produce, because they don't turn it over enough, and you've been eating like that for several years, you might go through something trying to eat apples for 3 days, because apples are powerful. They are in the shape of the way that energy runs in our energy systems. They have more than just the accumulation of the vitamins and minerals, and this is something very important. Many things, we have many books, and I've written some of them about the things about food, like what the vitamins are, what the minerals are, what the weight is, all of those things, what history it has. But there's more. There's what shape is it in? How, an olive tree takes 400 years to grow. That's significant. That means something. That, what goes into that from the land itself and from all of the stages of development to give you that, all of those things are quite relevant. So it's also what color is it, and does it change colors, and at what color do you eat it? These are all significant factors that change your nutritional balance, but also when you start to look into them, you start to have so much respect for Creator and creation. You start to realize how masterful and detailed everything is, and how we could be more that way if we would consume more of that,
Well, certainly.
So it really helps you know that you have been given this exquisiteness, that you are as intricate and as beautiful and as nourished, that it is incumbent upon you to continue that process. But until you look into it, you don't have the appetite for it. Just give me a Chick-fil-A through the window. I'll take that unami bread, unami fries, pretend fake chicken, and the little cow toy. I have an appetite for that.
Yeah, that was a big psyop. Just thinking about how the toys and the meals were so enticing to get the children to beg the parents to get the Happy Meals or whatever the meals were, the
Yes.
fast food restaurants. Yeah, I know I was one of them. I mean, who wasn't?
Yeah.
You know, unless,
Well, they had a playground too.
yeah, that, oh gosh, the slide.
You know, and every place that we could have appetite, it was exploited.
Yeah.
It really was, and it's all right. So here we land, all of us who are here on Earth, in this environment that has been manufactured to distract us and uh, take from us by varying levels and degrees life and nutrition. And this is the where we arrive on the board. Okay, now how are you going to make your way to win this game?
Shoot.
What is your strategy going to be? Are you going to get with like-minded people? You going to, join a farmer's market? Are you going to like get your calibration and learn how to calibrate your food? How are you going to navigate this game that we're in? How are you going to get to the end? Nobody gets out of it alive, so that's not really staying alive forever is not the end game, and we might want to let the 1% know that. That's not how you win this game. How you win this game is you stay beautiful and healthy and elevated and full of light as long as you want to. And then you leave. And then you go do the next thing. That's how you win this game. So do we even know what the rules of the game are? What are we doing? Are we just moving from one place to another until we expire on the board? And they're like, kick them off the board, make room for the next ones.
I'm about to flip this game board over. I see within my experience, don't play the game. Do not go by the script that they've created.
Do not
Don't
go
play by the
script.
rules that they've created.
Yeah, load up your calibration, trust yourself, believe in your own experience, and call for life and that which produces life, and let that be your guide.
Yeah.
You don't have to pray at the altar of anything else other than life itself. And for some people that may seem like you should be bowing to other institutions. But I am not in the
How's that
service.
working out for
Yeah,
us?
I'm not in the service of other institutions.
How is it, I say it again, how is it working out for us to bow and give allegiance to these institutions? It's not. That's how it's working out.
Well, I think even better, a better way to even perceive it would be to say, how has that worked out for us thus far? How much benefit have we gotten from our education or our religion or our political views or our allegiance to fast food? How has that worked out for us?
Well, from what I am gauging in terms of the temperature of not everyone, but a nice amount of people are saying that we've been lied to across the board. Everything was a lie. That's what the temperature is out there.
And it's true, and still we are talking about. It's still we are able to say, trust yourself, learn things that will help you have the appropriate power and trust in self. Know that you have the power to not succumb to this game.
Yeah, that's all the more reason.
Like, we don't have to succumb to this. We can discern what we should eat and what we can't eat, and we can figure it out. But our appetite is for what has poisoned us. We have developed an appetite for the poison.
Well, that's why you need a parasite cleanse to undo that appetite, make you alkaline,
Yes.
make you mucusless. I want to back it up a bit because we were talking about plastics and we got a video clip about something wow that they're doing. Do you know that they are making food from plastic? Now, Lao Tzu has spoken about this well over a year ago regarding the making of ice cream, which we're going to play that too, but I just came across a video of India is taking the plastic garbage and making biscuits. This is real, people. So I'm going to play this clip really
Before
quick.
you do, I want to share, before you hear this clip, which is true and it has been explained, is that what level of intellect is it that thinks that we should take the garbage that pollutes our world, that's clogging up all of our oceans, and that we should pretend that that is food for us, and then mix it with some food element, and then feed it to our people? Who what person thinks that's a solution? What kind of person thinks that, I know, we'll give our children garbage?
Someone with an IQ below room temperature.
It is a level of intelligence that cannot be the one that is the one we follow. We cannot follow the level of intelligence that will feed us garbage. This is what was done in ancient Europe, or in the European stories of the palace, and how they would lock people up and put them in the dungeon. They would give them slop because being in the dungeon wasn't bad enough. So now we're going to give you slop to wear you down even further. This is that same play. This is the same play. Like, you're in a prison, now we're going to give you things that are not food to wear you down to be even less than you are, so that you will confess to all of the sins and die.
But how is it? Sounds stupid. I'm using the term stupid because, like, it's plastic. It's plastic. But there is a concerted effort in more than one area that we've seen where they're trying to push and normalize this. So I'm going to go ahead and play the clip.
Plastic is poison, so it's essentially the same thing.
All right, you ready for the clip?
Yes.
This vanilla ice cream is the world's first food made from plastic waste. According to Reuters, the ice cream art installation is designed by Eleanor.
I'm sorry. That's the ice cream one. I don't want to play that one yet. I want to play the biscuit one first. We'll play the ice cream one in a second. Just saw the biscuit one 2 days ago. Here we go.
Would you eat biscuits made from plastic waste? Researchers are developing a way to turn plastic bottles into protein-rich 3D printed snacks.
We are providing a solution for plastic waste accumulation in the environment. Secondly, we are providing an alternative food source to answer the food scarcity issues currently the world is facing.
They use engineered yeast to break down PET, the plastic found in many water bottles, and agricultural waste. This is then converted into protein and other food ingredients. The biscuits aren't approved for tasting yet, and they're a long way from supermarket shelves. But researchers hope that technology could help produce food in extreme environments. So, would you eat one?
You see she didn't eat it, though. You
Yeah.
see she put it to her, but she did not put it in her mouth.
No, but that smile was to let you know that that's a happy thing.
She's so proud of herself, too.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, we're food scarcity. This lie that,
Of all of the things and on all of the globe and all of the earth, plastic is the thing they chose. Of all of the things that exist, all of the things that are produced from nature, it's plastic. And it's not like you couldn't make useful items from plastic. It's food they want to make from plastic. So I think it's very
protein
telling.
rich plastic.
I'm
For
really
you gym
glad
bros
that you
and
found
gym
this.
girls in there, you need your protein. Get your plastic biscuits.
This is,
crazy.
as far as I'm concerned, it's no different than what they did in Middle England and in the torture chambers, and of feeding people poison after they've already been beaten up and arrested. You know, like, this is like more layers of aggression.
Yeah, it's like I don't see us doing. It's similar to the idea of cricket powder. It's even further egregious than cricket powder, but it's in that same ballpark. Eat this. This would be better for you. This would be good for you. And then again, another lie: food scarcity, especially in the U.S. Even though that was India, when you think about the U.S. and how much food is thrown away. I saw a girl who she did some video and she was talking about the pretzel place that's in the mall, Annie's. Now, we don't eat that, but it was the principle of what happened. She was looking to get something fresh, and then they said, "Oh, we're about to throw these out or take them down and put some new ones up." And she asked, "What do you do with those?" And the worker said, "Oh, we just throw them all away. That's what corporate wants us to do." You know, so there's so many companies, even grocery stores, that throw food away, they throw it in the trash, and they lock the trash cans so that people aren't dumpster diving and getting the food. So it's like the scarcity is manufactured. It's artificial. It's not even real.
And it's true of restaurants as well. I've run many restaurants. It's also a corporate policy with restaurants as well. Yeah. It's not really about food scarcity. It's if you poison all the crops all over the world, and then you cull all the birds, and then you poison all the cows, it isn't actually natural scarcity. It's like you're producing a thread or a stream where only certain kind of food can get to the populace through the mainstream distribution. So it is more this idea of removing food and replacing it with things that are not food, which is what that is.
So I want to speak about that a little bit because there's a lot of vegan alternatives out here that it seems like, again, an alternative to whether it be cheese, dairy items, or breads that just meats, mock meats, and it's just as bad. It's like some of the stuff has like wood pulp in it. Like there's cheeses with it, and again, the options, they're not really what we think they are, and hence the need for discernment. Like, body, is this really food? Can you process this? Can you have life force and electricity to light the technology up and get the neurons firing, get the mitochondria going? My body's like, nah.
It's a whole array of things. You mentioned cricket powder. We are not insects. And the neurological network over evolutionary times will change the human if it is fed the diet of what a anteater eats. We are not anteaters, we're not cricket eaters, we're not insect devourers. And if we were, it would change our neurological aspects over the course of time.
Sounds like that's the goal.
And with the plastic, we won't last long enough to see it.
Talk about Barbie and Ken.
Yeah,
for real.
We won't last long enough. This is an escalation. During 2020, they were talking about we're going to put cricket powder in all the seasoning. We're going to put cricket powder in all the flours, and we're not going to say anything about it. And of course, if you have discernment and you have calibration, you can figure out where it is. So they did that during 2020. Now it's like, all right, they're still here. Bring out the plastic. Bring out the plastic biscuits. So it escalates, and each thing is another diabolical plan. What really is interesting to me is that these things started from people who had agendas a long time ago. But the ones who are doing it now, like the scientists in India, the sense I get from that is they're just following the course of that level of thought. This is not this mastermind saying it's like, we started this, now look, the minions are feeding each other plastic. Look, it's still working. It's more like that now we have become the persecutors of humanity ourselves. We are doing things that destroy the human soul and spirit through what we give it and how we think about it. How is it that you can hold the sacredness of a human and feed it plastic?
I don't see that they're looking at humans as sacred. I don't see that it's even a consideration.
Even in the sense of baby formula, if it's not needed for the baby because it's unavailable, milk is unavailable, how is it that feels like the right thing to do?
Again, I think it goes back to what we were saying earlier, where we have went along to get along with the system for so long, and it's what our parents have done, it's what society has done, and this requires us to look in another direction.
Thank you, I understand better now.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, so we got another video. We got another video on plastic. Ice cream, plastic ice cream. This is pretty wild. So this is an older one, but it's like, really, guys? So check this out, and we'll be right back.
This vanilla ice cream is the world's first food made from plastic waste. According to Reuters, the ice cream art installation is designed by Eleonora Ortolani, with the intention to challenge the way we think about plastic waste and what we are and are not prepared to eat. Developed by scientists at the University of Edinburgh, the process harnesses the power of bacteria and enzymes to behave as eco-friendly factories to digest the plastic and turn it into vanillin, the molecule that gives vanilla its flavor. Despite its appearance, the ice cream is still a research project and not currently for human consumption. Ortolani shared her design was inspired by her frustration with the failure of the recycling system to stop plastic polluting the environment. What do you think?
What do I think? You want to know what I think, lady? I think we need to stop that critical mass. Because this is the second person, same motivation, and they're utilizing the same process, microbacteria, to break down the plastic.
Yeah, so this is what our scientists are doing with those scientific education that we gave them.
I know how we can solve the plastic crisis. Let's eat it. Let's eat the plastic away.
Yes, because we know that plastic will disappear once it goes into your body. It won't exist on the planet anymore. It will not exist on the planet anymore. We have solved the problem.
No more plastic. Where's my plastic bag? Incorporate it into your lunch. Right, you carry your lunch, your lunch in your bag. You eat the lunch and the bag.
Eat the bag and leave the lunch.
Right. Wow, like, I'm full. I just ate the bag. I don't even need the lunch. This is wild. But again, we have a trend, so clearly there's a trajectory that these industries are leading humanity into, but I don't see us doing it though. I really don't see it, because I do
you don't see us
like,
eating plastic?
Well, not you, me, of course, but I'm speaking of,
like what?
As much infrared sauna and kimchi and brine I'm drinking, no, it's not happening. And you know, we can make ice cream from bananas or muscadine pulp and fruit pulp. There's a lot of different things you can do. But
we can do all kinds of things that are food.
Now, you know, funny enough, the whole breakdown of the bacteria thing, I know you're aware of this, but this may be new information for you all out there, where there are groups who are lacking the funding for that type of technology, like the bacteria that they can just put in the ocean and it'll just eat up the plastic and the microplastics too, but it's just, clearly that's not the route that they want to go. They want to turn it into food.
I actually worked with someone many years ago, maybe 15 or 18 years ago, who owned a company that during the oil spills, his bacteria, he owned a company that grew microorganisms, and he would sell it to the government and take contracts to eat oil spills. That's not us. We're not
the ones signing up. Yeah, that's something
like
right there.
There exists already a solution to plastic and petroleum. It has existed for a long time, and people know about it. People in the industries, people who have oil spills know about it. Governments know about it. So this is not news. I know you could be a microorganism. You could operate as an organism on the earth to digest plastic, and you'll still poop out plastic. You know, there is a solution for all of these things already. Nobody is looking to fund these things, but they already exist and they can be done on small scale. And there are a lot of things, useful items that can be made out of waste, plastic waste, that don't include feeding it to us or our children. So that seems very clear to me. I'm wondering what our audience thinks about that.
Yeah, what do you all think about this whole eating plastic thing? It's pretty wild, but this is where we're at. It looks like there's a couple of comments here. Stacy LTS says, "Hell to the nah." A second. Hold on. There's a lot of comments here. I'm going to start from the back.
You don't want to be plastina?
No. Resolve the plastic waste by making human plastic waste. Make it make sense. They can't. And then Julian says, the plastic in India is war against the natives, indigenous people who are vulnerable and lied to. It's a disconnect to the mother and the sacred Mother Earth. Yeah, true that. It's pretty wild over there. I've seen a couple of videos of people exploring it, and it's just intense. Then we have.
Well, and remember that thousands, tens of thousands of farmers committed suicide after the GMOs were introduced to the Indian farmers because they couldn't make enough a living, and they committed suicide because there was no other life for them. So this is the environment that we're looking at now. They had farmers who all committed suicide because they brought from America GMOs that destroyed their land and then further aggressed them by making them pay if it drifted over to the next land.
Yeah.
So that's the pre-story of this. The pre-story is something different. So I think that's very important to have that clarity.
Well, certainly. We got a comment
Thank
from
you, Julianne.
Shade Abernathy. She says, when growing up, I had no decision on what I eat. Just eat what she was given in dessert. Maybe a graham cracker, or I think graham cracker. Lol. We also had to do walking after dinner, which was said it helps our food digest. That's different because we didn't do no walking. We just baked, sat on the couch, watch TV.
If you think about it, this is really a convolution of what happens in cultures. In cultures like in Spain, where people eat, or in Great Britain, where people have high tea,
Yeah,
they
siesta.
rest before they start trying to compete with all of the energy you eat. All of your life force goes to your stomach for digestion, which is 60% of your life force. So it's not the time to swim or run a race or go for a walk.
Yeah, or do customer service or be a server at a restaurant.
Yeah,
Take a break.
that's not what's supposed to happen during digestion. You're supposed to be quiet and at peace. And so even, everything about that today is unfortunate.
Yeah. So we got one more video. This is a video of a gentleman speaking about the different meats. And I think most of us know that there has been an agenda push for lab-grown, genetically modified meats, 3D printed meats. But it's interesting because he's saying that he's been to a lot of the big box stores and seeing this type of mystery meat. So check out what he's saying, and we'll elaborate a little further.
So I've been to Kroger, I've been to Target, I've been to Walmart, I've been to Aldi, Food Lion, Piggly Wiggly, Whole Foods, and Fresh Thyme. Every single one of them has a prepackaged ground meat that will not tell you, number one, where it comes from, number two, where it's packaged, and what kind of procedures that it goes through in order for us to know that it's safe. If you ask them behind the counter, they're going to tell you there's a thing on the back, scan it with your phone, and it's going to take you to a website that the FDA has put out there. And what it's going to say is, it could either be 3D printed, it could be a cloned animal. Let's just put it out there. If that's a problem, well, TikTok, you need to check the FDA website because it says it could be. Folks,
I don't know.
God, I gotta be careful.
My man is stressing over there. He's like, I can't even get the words out.
It's so much more than that. I mean, what he says, every bit of it is true, but there's more. So we have a client who has a son who's in the penitentiary, and her son works in the kitchen, and her son receives the food that says not fit for human consumption as part of the food that's given to him to cook for the other inmates. We know, we all could watch, and during the early 2020s, where Purdue was given pardon and relieved from all liability for anything that happened with their food, and at that same time that food that had tumors was no longer considered unfit. That what was, and this was on the news, and I remember seeing it, that the tumors could be removed and nobody would be, there would be no label that said it had tumors. As if the tumor were on another planet. And then the thing, like, of course they're connected. So this is what is happening in the, with the legitimacy and the truth of what happens in our food world is gone. That is, and it's been gone. This is 2026.
Yeah.
We're almost at 2027. This was years ago when they like, well, you can't, whatever happens with the chicken, you know, you can no longer prosecute the chicken growers for it. And by the way, we're going to kill all the chickens, you know, and we're going to call all of the avian flu. It's avian flu now, you know, and all of these things with the products, the pharmaceutical products that they're giving the chickens cause the chickens to have tumors. In the same way our dogs get tumors from what we put on the lawn. It is not a mystery. It is a direct correlation. And we have, at some level, humanity knows this is on the news, we have not risen up and said no, because we still have an appetite for Chick-fil-A.
Well, it goes back to what I was saying. There's something within the food chemically that makes us want to go back. But it's also,
There's a lot of things in the food chemical.
Yeah, exactly. But even beyond that, the magic and the spells from engaging with the corporations.
All of that,
you know, and then, you know, and recently, like, there's like zero regulation now. You know, Trump administration have fired everybody. Like, the little levels of regulation that we did have is gone. She gone. And so now, like, again, it's like ultimately up to us to discern and, again, really explore other options, because even though we're playing this video and it's like, you know, he's naming all these stores, like, he's not talking about farmers who got their own cuts. And now in recent times, and this is for the people who are still eating meat, you know, farmers, they're looking to sell direct to consumer now because of whatever's been happening with this whole, like, several hundred tons of mystery meat that Trump's importing into the U.S. So, you know, I say that to say that there's options out there, but it does, again, require us to pivot and no longer trust. And like you say, we've been not able to trust them, you know, but it's like, all right, at what point do we wake up?
This is really about, you are the savior that's coming for you. There isn't anyone coming from the great chicken market in the sky to help you not die for what they're, you know, what is being pushed. The pharmaceuticals that are poisoning the animals. We are not anti-animal. We are anti-life. You know, what is anti-life is what we are against, that which does not support life. You are encouraged to eat food, things that are food for humans. At this point, and my guidance has told me that when I ask them, like, what should I share with people, is tell them to eat food. Stop eating that which is not food. Because food, at some level, whether it's your highest preference or not, whatever the thing is still designed to make your technology work.
Well, I was just going to ask you, what is food? That's one of the questions I had. I was actually going to ask that at the top of the conversation, but in your own words, would you convey to us what is food in our relationship to it?
You know, there's so many things, and all we have to do is get quiet to see. So most of us have lived long enough to be able to recognize what has been traditionally used as food, although many of the things that humanity needed are already gone. Many of the fruits and many of the vegetables have already been taken away, and an example of that would be hemp. Like that is a multi-versatile.
Oh yeah, in so many different ways.
Yeah, multi-versatile plant that grows, that operates as food and shelter. It does everything.
Yeah, clothing.
And so it was outlawed, right?
Yeah.
A long time ago.
They're like, nah, you can't be. Nope. Nope. No. They're like, can we make him with this? What about? They shut it all down.
So now you can get sheets.
You can get him milk.
You can get him milk.
Get him milk.
However, so my point is that there are many things. When I studied Dr. Sebi, I recognized what he was doing. He was traveling the world with his wife to China and India and different places, looking for those plants that had enough power in and of themselves that they could be made into capsules or made into tablets that a person could just take that and it would give them life like that.
Yeah,
Like,
light up that circuitry.
Yes, and then they were healed from a variety of things. So there are many things on the planet that were doing that, and there are still a few things that are. But mostly when we think about the chemtrails and what falls from the sky, and like our person online today said her tree is dying. You know, that's such a sadness that the tree is diseased. Is it diseased because of what's falling from the sky or something that was put into the ground? You know, is it dying a natural death or is it dying the death of what's happening in our world right now? So many things that we know of are as food, but we were in Hawaii, and it was very eye-opening to me to find out that there were companies making pharmaceutical, chemical things that Hawaii was used as a place to try out all these things, and that much of the food that was available in Hawaii came from the mainland, from Costco.
Costco, yeah.
That there was a barge. I was on an island called Molokai, and there was a barge from the big island that came every week because you couldn't eat the food that was grown on Molokai because there was a Monsanto building there.
I remember seeing it, and it was
And,
so
and,
insidious.
and it had contaminated it. So many of the things that we think of, like pineapples and papaya, depending on where they're from and who's growing them, they still may exist in their glory, but they may not, too. You know, when we think about coconut sugar as an alternative, the people who started manufacturing coconut sugar didn't realize that when they tapped, it's not like a maple tree, when they tapped the coconut sugar, that it became sterile and it could never produce another coconut again. So they killed entire coconut forests. And now they have the sugar and there's no coconuts growing. So when we eat certain things, we don't know the extent of what we don't understand enough about how everything intertwines with everything else. So we don't really know what we're getting. So some things seem really good. And, you know, it sounds really great to have salmon, but if you're getting farm-raised salmon, you're not getting salmon. You're getting something else.
Yeah, and at this point, it's farm-raised, lab-grown.
And
So
whatever bacteria
further.
and whatever antibiotics and whatever drugs they have given it, and then what are they feeding it? What do they know what salmon in the ocean eat? What are they
These
feeding
salmon
it?
are swimming in their own feces
And
and
this
eating
is,
their own feces.
and then there's a lot of material. So this is not to be a long list of sad things that are happening. This is to empower you to know that you may need to know. You may need to go into wherever you're going to acquire your food with that understanding, and then hopefully this will inspire you to grow some microgreens or grow something, or some baby tomatoes, or whatever it is that you would like, to find clean food and find people who are dedicated to having clean food.
Before we go, would you speak a little bit about what this upcoming soil translation class is going to have in store for the students? Again, the focal point is food, discernment, but it's more than food. It's like all the things surrounding the idea of food. Would you elaborate a little further?
We are going to be talking about food in a very broad way, in very many directions. Like, we will give you a list of what ingredients to bring so that you could cook something with us for each of the 3 classes, so that you may learn a recipe that's highly nutritious and very delicious. You may also bring to class foods that you need to have clarity on, that you need more information on. I'm very well versed in food, and what I don't know, my discernment will help me with. So there are opportunities for us to have extensive conversations about what is food, how do we produce food, what is a good way in this growing climate of famine, what would be a good way for us to manage our money and our food? How many meals can we make from a certain thing, like, for instance, beans or greens?
Gosh, I already thought of 3 different pasta noodles already. If I keep going, I'm gonna have a 4th and a 5th.
Yes, like what is the least contaminated? Are people bothering to contaminate beans?
No.
Not yet. So you know, this might be a kind of product. Did you know that they're virtually uh, forever? You know, that there are certain things that are forever items that never go bad?
And we're talking about dry beans, not canned beans.
Yes. There are certain things that you can have that would, and if you have spices, you can have a wonderful, flavorful, rich, healthy experience. And there are other, you know, there's really no prohibition about the food that you eat as long as it is food. So it's a different approach. The books I wrote previously were about food combining and blood typing. I wrote a book about that. Then I wrote a book about things like spirulina and structured water and quinoa and wheatgrass. So I have that information. However, that's not enough. We're in a different time. That was many years ago, decades ago. We're in a different time and our landscape is different. So we need to know that, but we need to know what do we buy? I got $100. What do I go buy? What can I eat off for a month? I can tell you how to do that. So it'll be things like that.
Interesting. So stay tuned for anybody who's looking to take Soul Translation with Lolta. September 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Sunday. And then the prerequisite sun calibration is all you need to join this class. So there's 2 more comments I want to touch on, and then we can get out of here. We've been a little over time. So I Am Elijah says, you can make fuel from plastic. They also have tech to capture the waste from fuel emissions. I understand you used to do that back in the day.
Yes.
Or associated with an organization that in a community that
We
essentially
had
did that
children's
diesel
school
fuel.
buses. We made our biodiesel from leftover vegetable oil in
Yeah.
restaurants and for free, and ran our school buses. So yes, I have some understanding of how that works.
There's a young man who's in the circuit right now he's really getting some notoriety about doing that, converting specifically plastic into biodiesel fuel. You know, it's something that's been around for quite some time, but you know, it's interesting for the more recent generations to have the awareness, which I think is really cool and refreshing. You know, it's very promising as well.
It's admirable that the thought is going beyond it's to go to what our society throws away and then make it useful.
Yeah, exactly. And we got one more. This is actually a question, and Gina's saying, this might sound off subject. I like the disclaimer. Mm-hmm. But what do you suggest about teething babies and what to do instead of using plastic or silicone teethers and toys? Continue to bring them outside in nature? Thank you.
You know, it's very interesting. What old people did, they did make hardtack biscuits. They would what we would call, I don't know if your generation knows, what we would call a twice baked biscuit.
I'm familiar with twice baked, but they weren't giving me twice baked.
The twice baked is something that you would get something so hard that it would rub the gums. It was nutrition. It was made from something that you would eat, but it was baked so hard that it didn't crumble and it didn't go away, and the child could gnaw on it all day. And that's what old people did. That's what I would do. And that's in the time when I was having children growing up, they sold those, and I don't know if they still do. They sold something that was really hard that would rub against the child, but they have some level of nutrition in it. It would be best to make your own, but you could buy something like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put plastic in their mouths.
Yeah. Starting off too early.
Yeah.
They just got here.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
It's like, dang, man. Yeah, it's insidious. Just thinking about the plastic nipple with the bottles and.
Yeah, all of that is, you know, it's like you are already equipped. If your equipment doesn't work, yes, it's appropriate. But if your equipment works.
Yeah. You know, it sounds like so many different things, and I'm sure people are like, man, there's a lot to consider, and rightfully so, it is. But I have learned within my own experiences that do what you can. What's within arm's reach, you know, don't stress too much. And what you do know, because it's like, we know what's correct and right to do. And there are areas where we can pivot, and there are areas that are a little out of reach. And what I have found to be the truth within my experience is let me focus on what I can that's within reach that I can control. And the truth is that everyone has that. Even when it comes to like levels of manifestation, you want something grandiose and like you always have access to the first 3 steps towards it. You know, something within arm's reach. And it's
I
that
love
same
that.
principle.
First 3 steps. What are the first 3 steps for me correcting my parasite load? What are the first 3 steps for me correcting my food lifestyle? What are the
You want a
first
phone a
three
friend?
steps to me getting my children on board, because that's very problematic, getting the children on board.
Yeah.
But, you know, I know because I have a house that doesn't have anything in it that children couldn't eat.
Yeah, you cannot get addicted to anything in this house.
Because nothing is addictive.
Yeah.
And that's the way we want it. However, the end goal should be that this gives you impetus to know we need to create a new world. We need a new world, and we need to be a new person. And this, each step you take takes you closer to that end and to developing a community with others who want the same thing.
Yes, yes.
So I think this is, we may need to end here.
Yeah, I'm ready to go because we have graciously extended the time. But this has been really great dialogue with you today. I trust that you all have gained and valued from this dialogue as well. Thank you to everybody who commented and engaged with us today. Shout out, you know who you are, and those who were just tuning in. Some people popping in and out. If you pop back in, thank you for being there then and now at this point. We appreciate you. Make sure you continue to stay tuned. Click the like, the subscribe button. Continue commenting if this resonates. Share this with someone who you know who may needs this information, who needs a little bit of encouragement to pivot their lifestyle, because that's what we're confronted with.
Yeah, love yourself enough to change. We thank you. In Locution Veritas, with honor, respect, gratitude, integrity, discipline, and action.